Hello, my name is Sophia Lee, and my senior thesis is called Alternative Learning Environments for Public Primary Education. I believe in the extraordinary evidence of human creativity that can reshape systems in education. Education is supposed to help people learn the core values of life and better serve their communities for future generations. However, as the world's needs evolve, so do the demands for education and educational reforms. Although public education has helped millions, there remains a subsequential number of people that the current system has failed and continues to do so. I chose to focus on children ages 5 through 10 because they are naturally curious and adaptable. So creating this public school will affect their long-term learning. To help create learning environments that are conducive to all types of learning, I chose to focus on alternative learning methods. Alternative learning methods such as the Waldorf or Montessori methods of learning for young children are growing exponentially worldwide. Although alternative learning methods supports the arts, music, dance, and theater more than public schools. It helps build the confidence and drive of students seen as low achievers in a traditional learning model. Innovation, flexibility, and interconnection will be inspired by flipped classrooms that will allow students to take learning at their own pace. Marker space classrooms, experiential learning to help experience real life learning, and overall keeping it fun and lively to encourage children to be the best versions of themselves they want to be. I chose Alden Elementary School, located in Delaware County in Alden, PA. This building currently serves as an elementary school in a suburban community. The current architecture of the building is 42,355 square feet for 250 total students ages 5 through 10 and faculty. Classrooms are currently supporting more than 20 people per class. So I decided to create a second level addition that increases the space by a total of 93,546 square feet. The classroom sizes will now be on average of 14 students to encourage the learning for both teachers and students. This image represents Alden's new mission to create community through significant space planning, natural daylight coming from curtain walls and ceiling, and adding the additional colored glass flaps to create excitement for the users inside. The colors will reflect through these panels as the east and south sun shine through every morning and evening before students arrive and leave for school. My program focuses on four main parts of educational design, such as classrooms, admin and faculty, and large gathering zones such as the auditorium, cafeteria, and gym. You can see the relationship I added between each classroom and alternative learning areas. Each zone will have different functions that cater to their developing minds, such as an early childhood playing area between kindergarten and first, group activities areas between classrooms, and putting an emphasis on resources that are not normally found in public schools. This is my first floor plan that represents the vision I have for Alden. This school's free-flowing floor plan and open circulation will invite exploration and interaction between students. There are two entrances on the south and east side of this building. Each class and alternative learning area has more than 900 square feet of potential space to spread out in either large or small numbers. As students travel through my central part of my building, they are met with natural daylight beaming in from each classroom and the skylights above. The large gathering zones supports all classes together to support a community of students. I want to focus on this primary area between kindergarten and first grade. This area is specialized in experiential learning because at this age, between 5 and 6 years old, students learn best through experiential learning. Experiential learning is when students partake in some activity engaging with hands-on learning. They'll be able to reflect on those experiences since critical thinking does not occur at this age. Rather, it's time for observing what lies before and around the learner as a result of activity. The theory for my design is bright, vibrant, and creates positive first learning experiences through climbing, crawling, or finding different areas rather than classrooms to read and play. The wayfinding happens through the colors of the soffits and columns and floor design, creating different sections. The skylights from above beam through this area, reflect through the colored curtain walls, and which have a switch light for privacy options. Here you can see my materials and finishes I used and how I created these different zones. The slatted ceilings added a natural feel with the vibrant colors through the wall and floor finishes. The accent colors I chose are complementary to learning because blue influences focus while yellow influences creativity. Here's my floor plan again, and I'd like to focus on the kindergarten classrooms that will encourage group projects and activities. This perspective shows the large windows that allow daylight to impact the positive learning for young students. Teachers can step in between collaboration zones. The shapes and colors have a familiarity with students. The classroom materials are a bit more subtle that serves as marker spaces for students. The reading zones have mats for comfort, and the furniture can be adjusted to any shape they'd like with easy handles for young students to pull. The East Corridor RCP and fixtures show the relationship to light with the classroom and alternative learning zones. I use acoustic suspended lighting, recessed LED channels, and suspended pendant lighting between each acoustic panel in the middle. The East Corridor section axon shows an overall view of the east entry for kindergarten and first grade. Here you can see how much space I left for circulation that has a holistic focus on learners' mental, physical, and emotional social needs. Parallel to the kindergarten classroom is first grade, and that follows a different furniture format than kindergarten. In this highlighted area, there are similarities, but I chose to have closer clusters for collaboration for students and teachers. In this perspective, you can see the start of the day for teachers and students. The smart board up front and simplicity of this room will create comfort from the vibrant play area outside. The soffits in the ceiling are colored with yellow to represent wayfinding. The recess lights create different shapes and lighting for interest. Another main factor to my floor plan is my central staircase that links 8 different zones of learning that remains unfocused in public school. In these 4 prominent corners, curtain walls open types of learning that aren't represented in most public schools. Before going to the second floor, students circulate through these areas to witness what future learning looks like for them through theater, music, reading, and tutoring. The second floor contains more classrooms on the north and south walls to bring sunlight from the views from the parks on each side. Each classroom has a different furniture format. Group learning zones happen between 6th and 5th grade, ages 9 through 10, and 2nd and 3rd grade, ages 7 through 8. In these group learning areas, it is specialized for grouped activities or different zones for teachers to bring their students for free time, do independent work, or interact with one another. The vibrant colors in these group learning areas to promote each zone. First, the ceiling height is 14 feet tall with clear stories that have glass flaps shining through. There are 2 zones for students to interact, and the middle zone represents group activities. Each student can place themselves within the dot, and one student would serve as the focus as a team building activity to encourage students to break out of their shells and form friendships. The Create and Learn wall has Corning glass technology with 3 different functions to either draw, practice math, or do word association exercises if students need extra practice. The suspended acoustic panel with LED lights represents the fun feel I want to create with a kite shape. Another main area is these independent hexagon reading zones that have a glass back to view the east entry and play area below. Each classroom has flexible furniture that can be formed to a teacher's lesson plan. Here is a closer view of these desk layouts. The pedagogy provides a sense of ownership and teaches responsibility for one's learning. In the delivery method, the learner is centered with multiple learning settings. The applying layout influence peer-to-peer learning that promotes independence, interdependence, and self-motivation. The creating cluster is integrated with problem and resource-based learning. Students are challenged to develop deep levels of thinking and application. Finally, the collaboration layout is the theory linked to practice problems with other resources and students' perspectives and interests in learning. And now I have a video for you all. Alden Elementary School will transform from a basic public education structure to encourage alternative learning methods. This practice will influence self-expression, responsibility, and using real-world teaching in various environments. Teachers are the role models of empowering and enabling students to be individuals and empowering students for the future. This is the future of design, and now is the time to reshape learning. I'd like to thank everyone who supported me on my way, my instructors, mentors, and advisors that came to watch, and especially to my friends and family who came to support me. I am now open for comments.
Thank you, Sophia. And just a reminder, we've got David, Ashley, and Carmeen.
I can go first. First things first, Sophia, congratulations. This is an incredible project. It's really, really beautiful. You definitely had a really, really in-depth understanding of exactly what you wanted to accomplish and why you wanted to accomplish it. It's very obvious and you explained it really, really well. You speak very eloquently and very confidently, which is great as well. And I was able to be walked through this project very easily. First thing, your renderings are all really successful. I love the kind of playful, kind of sketchy approach that you took. They read a little bit like drawings, almost like color pencil drawings, which I think is really, suitable for your user and the purpose of the space. And I love the use of the bright colors throughout, intermingled with the neutral colors so that it's not too overwhelming, but still fun and playful. I think that's really successful, as well as the use of the different geometric shapes. It feels kind of like a playground, kind of like blocks, like Lego, which is all like a really fun environment for a child to be in, but still not too overwhelming or too distracting since they are there to learn. So I think that you found a really nice balance between the two. And this genuinely seems like a really fun school. I would love to get to go there. So well done. You should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Sophia. I think this is a very wonderful project. I love your use of color throughout, and the use of color not only for design and look and feel, but for wayfinding, and you're using it a way to organize spaces. I think that's very nice, and coupled with some of the natural wood is a nice balance, because all of these real strong colors can get a bit overwhelming, but it kind of is soothed a bit by the some of the natural woods. I think the presentation was so successful. You're a strong presenter and speaker. Maybe talking about the materials a little bit more. I think you expressed the detail on the lighting very well, and what you did and why. But maybe what are a few of the colors, the materials that you've included, or even the furniture systems. I believe I recognize some of the furniture systems. Was that a Smith Systems that
Yes.
are known for all of the educational environments? They do so well with that. And I mean, you're as an interior designer and talking to interior designers and architects, you know, it's these materials and furnishings, you know, some of that detail. I know you have it here, you've done it. So that could have been emphasized a little bit, but I mean, the presentation was so great. I just want to congratulate you on a good good project.
Thank you.
Hi, Sophia. I think you did an amazing job. It's a beautiful project. It looks complete, and it looks like you really took the time to think about everything. And even with the video just showing like how you really thought about every element of what you were designing, and you had a reason behind why you did what you did. And you could give an explanation for the decisions you made, which I think was great. You sounded really confident in your presentation, which made it extremely believable. Because of that, I'm almost a little bit torn. I know your renderings are beautiful, but I almost wish, you know, maybe they did look more realistic because you did such a good job of selling your project. I almost want to see like an example of how this would look in a more realistic way. So maybe a little bit less of an illustrative approach and more of a three-dimensional approach. But overall, I love your use of color. It's the most daring that we've seen, but I think it works beautifully. I love that you explained how your furniture functions. I agree that we could have heard a little bit more on materiality, but I think just in how you explained how the children will use the space and how the furniture can be adapted to the different age groups, I think that works really well. I think you did a great job. Like, I think you nailed it on the head of figuring out how the space functions for children. I do question how the adults will still be using this space, and how, you know, you have so many interactive play areas and the central locations in the corridors, but how will they still be supervised in those areas? We see how it works for the children, but also just thinking about other users of the space. But overall, I mean, I think it's really cohesive. I love that you designed your ceilings and you really put thought into every surface. I think overall you did a really beautiful job.
Thank you.